So now we'll go over how to navigate PSS. This is the main menu, the main screen which you will see when you log into PSS. Just kind of a brief description. I'll go over the different list of these buttons and what they do. Option 1 through 6, including 14, with the second one being not active, allows you to view records that are in PSS on your computer screen. These menu options can also be used to edit if you have the appropriate login. Option 7 allows you to see projects as they appear in the federal database. Option 10 allows you to see all the printed reports currently available. Option 11, it's right here, allows you to view almost all the information in PSS as Excel tables. So if you're more comfortable working in Excel or you want to export it to send to somebody, you can export the tables as an Excel table. Option 8, this is a hyperlink to the current STIP. Option 12 and 13 is where you can find documentation on PSS. This includes all the documentation on how to use PSS, much like the videos I'm covering. Option 15, which is not currently active, is the material cert info. So now I'll go over how to find a specific project record in PSS for construction. And first we'll be using this active and co button right here. You'll have 3 options so far to search for your project. This is by resident engineer, project manager, or island. You're most commonly probably going to be searching by resident engineer or project manager, but I'm going to go by island right now. So if I do a search by Kauai, I search. This will be a list of all the records that are for Kauai, all projects, construction projects. And at the bottom you can see all the different records. This is one of 86, and if you click on this, it'll tab to the next one, and this will be all the projects. This is how you can find them. So the tabs across the top, the general info, routes and legislative, PM contracts, etc., allows you to see other details on this current project. The gray buttons at the top allow you to jump to other phases of this project if you were wanted to find out, so for planning, design, or right away. But for construction, this is all related to this project record. So who is responsible for which fields and when? So a complete breakdown of the PSS responsibilities is in menu item 13, and I can show you that real quick. So in PSS help files, responsibility chart, and you click enter, it'll pull up a PDF document outlining from top to bottom all the specifics on the responsibilities. I'm just going to be going over the broad responsibilities in the record. So go back to search. At the field office level, RE level, you're primarily responsible for the district progress tab, the disposition log, and the NPDES permits tab, and portions of the PM contracts tab. You should double check the information on the other tabs at least once when the project starts. If unsure of the definition of a field, please refer to the PSS definitions document. This is also under menu item 13. Monthly and as needed updates for the district progress tab. Only the district progress tab requires monthly updates. Definitions are also covered in the PSS definitions document, but I'll go over them briefly. So the percentage complete, this one right here, the percentage complete, which should match the percentage on your last pay estimate, The only exception is that there are for projects that are close to being done. For this, in this case, 98% and 99%. So if this is showing as 98%, the project is physically completed, but some physical corrective work still needs to be done. If it's 99%, only administrative paperwork needs to be completed to legally and officially close out the project, and final payment has yet to be made. Next, start date. This date is the start work date as described in the new 108 spec revision. Percentage of time elapsed. Percentage of contract delays that have been expended. Unworkable days. Number of days used for rainouts or other non-working days not covered by change orders. Revised substantial completion date. The official substantial completion date per the CPM schedule and the change orders that have already been approved. This should match the weekly statement of working days. Anticipated substantial completion date. The unofficial and most accurate estimate of when the work will be completed based on all known problems. So upcoming change orders, other issues. So the actual substantial completion date. The date when the project was actually deemed substantially complete. This is the day that the contract time officially stops, unless you were charging liquidated damages for the project. So the relief of maintenance date, this one right here. The date contractor was granted relief of maintenance. Final inspection date, the date of final inspection. Letter of material certs to Highway L, the date you requested a letter of material cert from Highway L. Also note the Highway L records the date they received the request in the material certs module of PSS. Final payment number, this number right here, the number of the final payment. Final payment total number, total amount paid out in the contract including the final payment. This is not the amount that was paid in the final payment, but the final amount paid to the contractor for the entire project. Final payment district approval date, the date the district engineer signed the final pay estimate. Now for the comments field below, the remarks district. From the remarks field, you can see historical remarks by date, with the newest remarks being at the top. Let me restart this. Search. So let's go to a different record that has more information. So the newest remarks are at the top, based on date. This one right here where it says enter a new comment here, this is where a new comment can be added. The date defaults to today's date, but it can also be changed if appropriate. And the field under the date is updated. The source of remark is this one right here. It is automatically chosen depending on which tab you enter the remark. So I'm in the district progress tab, so this will be the district progress remarks. You can click down and then change which responsible party is updating this. District remarks should briefly and professionally address the following items for the project. The current work. List which major work items are currently being done, have just been completed, or are about to start. If the project is in closeout, you may wish to note circumstances that are holding up closeout. For example, here, this project is waiting, at this date, it was waiting on final acceptance documents from the contractor. Time. 2. Time. Note why there are changes to anticipated substantial completion date, or the variables which may still affect the date. 3. Cost. Note any major changes to the cost that are expected and a brief explanation why. 4. Current or potential problems that may significantly impact the schedule or cost. For example, this one right here, contractor still in liquidated damages, project delayed due to bad weather in the area at night. 4. That was just 4. 5. If the project is in closeout, no remarks are necessary unless there is an unusual or prolonged problem with moving through the closeout process. For example, you may comment that you are waiting for a contractor to produce paperwork for material certs if there is a long period between substantial completion and the project acceptance. So, as needed updates, I'll go over to the tabs that have information that should be changed as it changes. So, the resident engineer, if this changes, you update it to the correct person. The project manager, if that changes, you can update it. The individual CM, CS, right here. The open-ended CM, CS contract PO or PAO number. Here. So the disposition log. All UA fields shown. If a UA or MOU is not showing, that should be showing. Please contact Highway R or Gina Bello to enter. All UAs greater than 1800 should be in PSS. All other fields under submittal. To ensure that all fields on disposition log are filled out in PSS, you can print out your disposition log from PSS. This will also save you from having to do double entry. So the NPDES and permits tab. This tab was created when monthly reports were required. You can still fill this out, but the information is not critical anymore from a project status or managerial perspective. But that may be subject to change. The Fed info. So this project doesn't have much information here, so I'll go to a different record. Twice monthly is when the updates should occur, the first and third Tuesday of the month. Data is downloaded from the Federal Project Database, FMIS. Projects in PSS are linked to the information in the FMIS based on their federal ID. Most of the federal information can be viewed in the FedInfo tab of the construction module. This will only work for projects in PSS that have the correct federal ID. So if the federal ID doesn't match, then it might not show, but it's based on the federal ID. Some older federal projects may not have a PSS record, or there may be multiple federal IDs for one project, so the information won't show. Under the construction module, it's this federal ID. Okay, also, I'll go over the list. This is another way you can find your project record. I click on this, you'll have a section of the screen which will show the list of all the projects. These are all the categories that'll characterize them by. So project number, project ID, status, award, NTP, original, and then a brief underneath it will be the project title. So right here is where you can essentially search the list on certain things. So if you search the project title for a keyword, so if I say Kuakini, search, and it filters it based on that. I clear it, or I search based on an engineer, Charlene, or clear it, or by project number. So if I wanted to find this one, I knew it, accidentally selected it. 19 Delta 0106 Mike. Type that one in, search, and it filters based on this project number. And if you click on anyone in the list, it'll bring up that record that we saw earlier when we were doing the other, using the other button, the Active Info.